We continue our working day. I am Valentin Pugachev, and now in the framework of Spokesman of Peaceful Life UCMC pilot project, we are going to speak about updates on the work of pedestrian checkpoint to the occupied territories in Stanytsia Luhanska and perspective of opening new checkpoint in Lugansk region. This is important for the residents of occupied territories. They can have free access to communication facilities and also to the relatives who are in independent Ukraine. And according to the order of the Cabinet of Ministers and the General Staff, some checkpoints were closed in order to prevent problems in these areas. And now these checkpoints are open, and now we're going to speak about the problems which are faced by the residents and also about the prospects of opening such checkpoints in Lugansk and Donetsk area. And our speakers are Yuriy Klymenko, Deputy Head of Lugansk Regional, Vitaly Grigoriev, Deputy Head of Border Control of Donetsk Border Guard Division. So, good afternoon. I remind you that we have simultaneous translation. So I give the floor to Yuriy Klymenko now. Thank you, and using this opportunity, I would like to congratulate everyone with religious holiday. And as to the checkpoint, I would like to remind that here in Lugansk area we have only one checkpoint, pedestrian checkpoint that is directly deployed in Stanytsia Luhanska. And I would like to remind that it was open on the 27th of October. Until this time, this checkpoint was used by 160,000 people. And due to the help from the side of charitable organizations and volunteers, and also servicemen and bodyguards, Stanytsia Luhanska checkpoint is equipped fully. And as to the repair of coating, and also fences are built, and also we established 5 toilets and some equipment for litter, and also we have benches for those who attend our checkpoint. And in order to prevent dirt, we have works on removing sand from this area, and also we have Белогорская, Stanytsia Luhanska, and Stanytsia Luhanska, and also the checkpoint. There is a kiosk where people can buy some drinks and food, and also at the checkpoint there are 2 points of heating. There's a tent, special tents. There are special tents, and there people can have hot tea and biscuits. And also there are some medical workers. And these tents are attended by 500 or 600 people. And together with charitable Christian organization, Christian movement, we have a point where people can get winter clothing for vulnerable population. And many people are elderly people, and during this period, we have a brigade of first aid and ambulance, and this is provided by the funds of local hospital. And also, work is carried out in order to supply water and also additional facilities to supply electricity. And we have a lot of plans, and the representatives of government, they control the work and supervise it. And last Saturday, there was a meeting headed by Mr. Zubko. They discussed effective functioning of existing checkpoints, and during this meeting, they discussed the issue of removing obstacles and solving the problems of checkpoints. And the main issues are the questions of financing of checkpoints, the issues of land plots for these checkpoints in communal and local enterprises, and so on. And we monitor the work of checkpoints, and we periodically go there, and we communicate with the state border guard and also with fiscal service. We communicate with the residents of Luhansk Oblast who moved to the occupied territory and to the territory of Ukraine. And also during the meeting headed by Zubko, they decided to create a working group that will start its work in Kramatorsk. And during the day of the meeting, they will visit practically all checkpoints that are in Lugansk and Donetsk oblasts, and they will create a passport for each checkpoint. And there will be also an order to the Ministry of Finance as to financing, and also to the Ministry of Regional Development as to the development of standard approaches that the number of toilets, the number of benches, and so on and so forth. So these standards and these approaches as to the video registration and other issues. And I have several questions to you, and then I will give the floor to Vitaly. You said that 160,000 used this checkpoint, so it means that it is in any direction, or yes, in both directions. 80,000 went to the territory of Ukraine, and 78,000 went to the occupied territory. And you said that this checkpoint is equipped very well. And what is lacking? What do you plan to buy for this checkpoint? We see that there's lack of financing for procurement and establishment of some facilities for fiscal service, for border guards, so there should be more comfortable conditions for the work of the officers of these services. And also some coordination workers should be present there, and there are no such people that can provide consultations for people. That's why some facilities should be provided for them. And also CCTV cameras are absent, and some facilities, some technical problems should be solved, and we are trying to solve them and try to create maximally comfortable conditions for those residents who want to use this checkpoint. Thank you, Yuri. Stay with us. And now I give the floor to Vitaly Grigoriev. Do you hear us? Yes, I hear you well. I also want to congratulate you with the religious holiday. And now, as to the Gnutovo checkpoint, it is placed into Parlovsk village council in the line of Novazovsk, Mariupol direction. And it is provided for the transition of vehicles and people. We have a point for people and vehicles, and 1,200 vehicles can pass, and more than 3,000 people. And procedures are carried out by bodyguards and also fiscal officers, and it's enough to allow people and vehicles to pass. And we don't have queues now, and on average, as for now, this checkpoint is used by 400 vehicles or 1.5 thousand people. And we provide such activities as counterterrorism, allowing people to pass and to prevent weapons and explosive materials from entering our territory. And also through this checkpoint, more than 504,000 people went through this checkpoint in both directions. And in 2015, our officers prevented materials from entering the territory for 20 million hryvnias, and also some weapons were also prevented from entering the territory. We also have some heating tents, and with the appropriate sanitary conditions, and there are some medical personnel, and also there are some emergency services. We have bio toilets, and the military and civil administration now studies the opportunity to deploy a logistics center near our checkpoint. And I have a question to both of you. And how many checkpoints are going to be open this year, and what are the conditions for the opening of these checkpoints in your oblasts? In the nearest future, we plan to open a checkpoint that will be for the vehicles in Lugansk Oblast. Is a priority. It's a highway Zolote-Первомайsk. Being more precise, Lysychansk, Gerske, Zolote, Первомайsk, Takhan. And this road is coordinated in the Minsk agreement and is included in the order 415, but it doesn't work because from the side of the terrorist organization, this corridor is closed. But the representatives of LPR, they do not allow our vehicles and also people who want to use this corridor. That's why, as I told you, there was a meeting, a commission was created that will come to Lugansk Oblast, and we will propose 3 existing roads that are in the territory of Lugansk Oblast. These are the corridor near Novatoshkevka in the region of the 29th checkpoint, and Lysychansk, Girskel, Stakhanov, and the third corridor is Popasna, Pervomaisk. So these are three ways we are going to propose to the representatives of the governmental delegation that will come to Lugansk Oblast, and we plan to give them information on this corridor on the 27th of January, and we will provide this information to the group that will be present in Minsk. And on the 30th, there was a meeting in Minsk, and according to the results of the meeting, the representative of OSCE, Martin Sadik, informed that Ukrainian delegation is informed contact group on this the intention to open transport corridor in the territory of Lugansk Oblast, and he meant this corridor that I've mentioned, Lysychansk-Girsky, Zolote, Pervomaisk, Stakhanov, that we are going to open. And this issue is additionally studied, and I hope that in the nearest future we will open one more corridor. Thank you. Thank you, Yuriy. Vitaly. And at the moment in Donetsk Oblast, there are two checkpoints. These are Noela Troitsky, corridor 4, Mariupol-Donetsk, and also corridor 5, Novoazovsk-Mariupol, and this is checkpoint Gnutovo. And now we continue to discuss the issue in the railway station Volnovakha-Zaleznichny. Thank you, colleagues, and please, dear colleagues, if you have questions, please ask. We have a question. I ask my colleague to take the microphone. 1 minute, please. Please introduce yourself and address your question. Yulia Volkhovska, Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. I have a question to Grigory about equipment. Do representatives of bodyguard service have uninterrupted access to the database, and whether you coordinate your data with SBU and fiscal service? Thank you for your question. In each checkpoint, Novotroitsk and Gnutovo, the representatives of bodyguard service use the database with a view to register the people who cross the line. And also we have cooperation with the representatives of SBU. We share information in order to find those persons who are wanted, and also with a view to coordinate and share information to prevent circulation of goods that are prohibited or the circulation of which is limited. Thank you very much. We end our press conference. Thank you for your time. And we hope for further contact and cooperation, and we hope that we see you soon. And thank you. Dear colleagues, thank you for being with us. We end our press briefing, and our next press briefing is on Thursday at 12. Thank you and goodbye.